What does it even mean to age gracefully? I mean, not just the kind of graceful that's about creams and serums and green juice, although those help, I'm not going to lie, but the kind of radiance that shines through every laugh line, every story, every new beginning. I always say sexy confidence it's not just about, youth or acting like Jessica Rabbit, it's about an energy that you have. It's a playfulness. It's a magnetism that just kind of draws people to you. And it's also about owning who you are at every stage of your life, even after heartbreak, even after divorce, even after you have lost someone or career shifts, or those quiet moments when you look in the mirror and wonder, where did my sparkle go? So I had recently worked with a client. I mean, and a lot of clients that I work with who are dating in the second act. But she came out of a 25-year marriage, and she told me, Kimmy, I don't even recognize myself. I used to be playful. I used to have fun. I was carefree. I felt sexy. I didn't even have to flirt. She's like, quite honestly, I don't even think I knew how to flirt. I just, I was myself and guys would approach me. And she's like, I just don't feel that happens anymore. And I feel like I'm too old to be sexy. And she didn't even know what dating was. Like she had only been in one relationship and that was it. And so now she's out there trying to learn how to date, but she was going out there like she was a relationship person. She got too serious, too soon, too fast. And she didn't know how to pace herself, especially in the modern day sense. So we had a whole thing together. I mean, she came to one of my workshops and my dating retreat. We did a whole makeover. I was teaching her just how to let go and stay out of her head with it all. But she had to feel sexy. It wasn't just something that she needed to talk about. That wasn't enough. She had to look in the mirror and really see it and feel it. And she was so focused on the man that she lost that what the real focus was about her. Because it wasn't until she looked in the mirror and she said, I'm sexy, I got it going on, is when the men started coming. And let me tell you, I kind of created a monster because then she's like, oh, I don't even want a boyfriend. She started going around and dating and just like owning herself. And eventually she found a guy that she dated and she really enjoyed, but she had to go through the process and really just feel alive. And she said to me at the end, Kimmy, I'm so happy that I found a guy, but that's not really why I'm so happy. I said, oh, well, what is your happiness? She's like, I'm finally having fun again. And I feel sexy. So I mean, and this happens all the time. It's like if you've been in a cocoon for a long time, like how do you poke out the wings in the cocoon so that you can learn to fly again? And that's what this episode is all about today, finding that desire, that energy to feel alive again. And my guest today, in my opinion, embodies this in every way. I'm so excited to introduce her. You might recognize her from the very first season of The Golden Bachelor. And she's joining me today to talk about what it really means to age vibrantly. I mean, even when we were talking off air, just to create balance in your life when you're navigating life later in life. And there's a lot of layers to it. But also, like, how do you stay connected with your sparkle, even if life throws you a curveball? And just explore how to move through, like, just that reinvention of what the joy might look like. So, if you've ever felt that you've lost your spark or wondered how to get it back, this conversation is definitely going to be for you. So, let me tell you a little more about my guest. She is a former NFL cheerleader and team captain for the Chicago Honey Bears. I was so excited. I didn't even know this when we were talking about having her on. I'm from Chicago, as most of you know, so we were already like sisters. She's also a professional dancer, model, and actress. She appeared on NBC's The Duke and the film Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. I love that. And she's been in so many other things, and I'll have her share that. But after her time performing, she brought her passion for movement into the fitness world, creating the right workout. It's an innovative program featured in Shape magazine and recognized by the IDEA Health and Fitness Association. She's continued to inspire others through personal training, Thai massage, and writing, including her book, Missing from the Sidelines. So I definitely want her talking about that, which chronicles the history of the honey bears. So interesting. And most recently, she was chosen to appear on ABC's first season of The Golden Bachelor, and where she is reminded that the confidence and beauty just doesn't fade. It really doesn't. And I think that's what the show showcased, just seeing all the women transform and finding that spark again. So welcome, Renee Halverson. Right. It's like a mouthful. Renee, it's so good to have you.
I am so happy to be here with you, Kimmy, and just hearing our history, right?
I
Chicago
know.
history.
We were talking over here, like, I don't know, there's something about talking to another Chicago gal. It's like home. I even think I start talking Chicago. Like when
Yeah,
I talk to other Chicago people, I'll say Chicago and not Chicago, like in LA. So
it just starts coming back.
exactly. Well, I'm super excited to have you on. And there are some things in your bio like I had no idea about, but I would love actually just to start with your story. You started sharing with me. I'm like, wait for the podcast because your story is so interesting. And then really like how it led to you like wanting to be on the very first episode of The Golden Bachelor. So yeah, I'd love for you to share.
Well, it started out before COVID that they were looking for, Golden Bachelorettes for the season, and then it kind of went away because of COVID. And then it was actually maybe a couple years, or I don't know, a year and a half later, all of a sudden I had moved from Chicago where I was, doing all the acting, dancing, and fitness and all that kind of stuff, and moved back from my Badger father, who was like had a couple falls, and I thought it was just I got to go home and be with my dad, and all of a sudden I get a call like, it came back up the show, and I thought I think I'll just go with this and see what happens. My father was doing pretty well at the time, and he was the one that said, "You're doing everything for everyone, Renee, and it's time that you do something for yourself. I want you to be happy. You need to go do this." And I'm like, okay. So I go through the process, and I don't know if you understand, like there was 34,000 applications. I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea when I started doing all of the several like video auditions with producers, and then there's all the background checks we had to do. You know, all kinds of testing sexually. And it's like they knew more about me than I knew about myself.
Oh,
It just the, fingerprinting, with the, they take care of their people because they can't have, someone on the set. So they have to really make sure, who we are, what
yeah.
what we are about. So after several, and just, going through several, I mean, questionnaires, I'm talking 500 questions, like constant, like working with different people that they hooked us up with. And it was like, wow. I mean, if I knew I had to go through all this, I don't know if I would have gone through it, but I'm glad that I did. And till I got the call one day that, I had made it as one of the Golden Bachelorettes. And I was like, oh, I didn't even, I was just shocked and excited, and scared. I was like, I know I have to have a wardrobe because I
Yeah.
don't have, I don't have gowns in Wisconsin now taking care of my
Right.
father. It's like, I have workout clothes, like a couple nice dresses for a wedding, but, was, oh, now I have to have a whole wardrobe because but it was exciting, and I was really happy to have had this, opportunity, and flying there. It was like, exciting. We all had our own producers, and they're like, take pictures of yourself on the plane and show us how you're doing. And I was like, and you get to the California, and they have drivers picking you up, and they're like, you better get everything off your phone now, or like get over all your messages out now, because you're not going to have your phone anymore.
Wow.
So the scariest part for me was like, they were kind enough to say that, hey, well, you obviously have family members that if my father needed they would come in and bring my phone and let me with them
Wow.
there. You're never talking alone. There's always someone there. So get to the hotel and don't get out of the limo, they get you to your room. I'm like, where's my key? No, you don't get a key. I'm like, what? Just like all this, like you are left to your room and they come in and they, look at everything and they take your phone and you're kind of like stuck there because until they come and get you, you don't know what's coming up next. It was exciting. And you never know when someone is knocking on your door and a camera's in your face and you're like, can I shut the door? Can we do this again? Can I brush my hair? Can I put a little makeup on? Like, he's like, so it was exciting. And how they do this is amazing, because there's all of us women in the same hotel and we never saw each other till night one when we get into our limos. And it was the
Wow.
first time that I got to talk to or see any of the other women and so excited to like just, see them and be in the limo. I'm like, like finally be able to talk to them.
Yeah.
And just so we did a lot of shooting before and we all had, designers. I remember them putting me in a dress and ripping it off to the side, making an angle, sewing it, changing it, you know, I wasn't real fond of my dress because I have a wider rib cage, so I kind of felt like a pilgrim.
We should have gone
I was
shopping
not,
together. If
you're
I
like,
knew
I
you, I
said,
would
I
have.
don't wear those kind of dresses. The gold belts, and I'm like, oh God, please help. But anyway, so it was fun. They had stand-ins for us. I mean, we were just got makeup, we got all this, and we ate all of our meals inside. We never ate outside. We had to stay in our room, and all I did was watch Hallmark.
Wow.
So, yeah, just because I felt like I had to like do something like about love and just kind of get myself into the excitement of what I was about to, you know, explore. And it was very exciting. I mean, the night that we all got into the limos, we all got to see each other and talk for the first time. And that's my night was quite different, but everyone was in beautiful gowns and I had a really beautiful dress. And because I was an NFL cheerleader, as we spoke about, I was in a warm up, actually, my original warm up suit I wore with my pom poms and white boots. And I was going to do a cheer. And because Gary was a huge Chicago Bear fan. So
Oh,
that's why they wanted an NFL cheerleader, obviously a Bears cheerleader that he was fond of. He was a huge fan. So of all the years of cheering in Soldier Field, I've never been so nervous or performing and, whatever I've done in dance to get out of a limo and do a cheer, Golden Gary cheer, Golden Gary,
oh my.
like looking golden with that golden tan, it was like kind of like, oh, just let me get this over with and get inside the mansion because I was like so embarrassed. But it was like, they didn't show when I got out of the limo, why I was in that warm up suit. And like
Oh.
some, like Teresa showed up in her robe and,
Mhm.
everybody had some, Leslie with the old, with the walker. But when I got inside the mansion that night, I didn't know exactly where my dress was. And because we were with one of the later limos, I was like, should I put on my dress? Should I not put on my dress? Where's my dress? And then all of a sudden, like Aunt Chippy, Jimmy Fallon's, aunt comes in. I'm like, all the stuff starts happening and Gary starts walking in and I'm like, do I want to go upstairs and try to put this dress on and what am I going to miss if I go up? So it was this all night of like, instead of like really embracing myself into the show and getting involved, I'm thinking about my wardrobe and I'm in this warm up suit. And so it just, everything took off really fast. It was a long night. And, I just never got in my dress. And so there was a lot of talk about that I was the only one in the rose ceremony not in a dress. And but I kind of look back on it now that I had a lot of fans because of that
Mm.
they loved it. they loved the whole fact that I wasn't there, like, on the glitz and glamour of the dresses and this and that, but I probably would have looked a lot better if I had worn my dress. But, you know, and I feel like, okay, so you leave so soon in a show, but I know now that they might not have, they would never remember me, Kimmy, if I was in that a nice, pretty dress, but they won't forget me because there's the girl that wore the warm-up suit.
With the warm-up suit.
And then since then, all these warm-up people are like all these like, you know, Instagram like warm-ups or comfy clothes or like, we love it. We want you to, work with us and this and that. So like kind of brought a whole cool vibe to my warm-up suit, It's like
Well,
so
yeah, go ahead. What were you
no,
saying?
so it was just one of those things that I kind of felt bad that I didn't get in my dress and
Mm.
um might have made a better impact on Gary, but it is what it is, and you make decisions and you can go backwards or forwards and you can't change what it is, but it was such a great experience.
It's such a cool thing. Like as you're telling it, it's almost like a Cinderella story. Like you got whisked away, and then at the stroke of midnight, you went back to the pumpkin and went back home. Like and you got it was like a whirlwind almost effect. And it's funny that you're talking about the costume. I talk about costume confidence all the time, and that it's a way of making you feel a certain way. Like even with your cheerleader outfit, you embody the energy of that. It's like Halloween, right? Like people just
Exactly.
all of a sudden shift the way that they're playing. And you know this from theater. Like when you're in your costume, you act a certain way. And I believe that whether you were in your comfy clothes or your gown, you move a certain way. And like for you, like to your point, it worked for you because you were memorable in that sense. But I actually wanted to rewind because I love this whole like magical impact it had on you, because it almost seemed whimsical the way that you're describing it. What was life like before you became one of the contestants? Like what, I'd love to just hear a little bit of your story.
Well, I mean, previously, before I moved back to caretake for my father, oldest living letter Badger, he's 101 today. I had a really exciting life of acting and dance and, like getting involved with, my fitness world and doing a ton of book signings and TV shows with our book Missing from the Sidelines. But I came back home for my dad, and then things really changed, and I was all about love, and for my father, a different type of love, and that was when I was in the middle of this show, leaving my dad. Also, I love animals. I had, two kitties. I had just lost one, and then I have one that I've been giving fluids to for 3 years, and everything had to work out for me. Like my dad was going to be okay, and my cat was going to be okay, and I had to have the green light to like leave, but it still was really hard to like leave my dad, leave my cat. So I kind of went in there as not the Renee Honey Bear captain, let's go, cheer it up. I kind of got in a sense of just you walk into a show like this and it's almost like walking to Wedding Crashers. You don't know these women you've never seen.
Yeah.
You can it's not I'm gonna tell you, like I'm a very confident girl, but it's hard not to compare yourself, and like I'm looking at I'm very kind of a conservative, classy type girl. I'm never, even when I was a honey bear, I had a hard time, showing cleavage and things like that. So I've always been very, in that sense, want to be more open. I'm like, why can't I be like that? But I wasn't. So I kind of closed off. I closed off out of like, um, do I want to stay here? Do I have enough gowns to make it through the show? I started, instead of like really embracing the relationship, like trying to find love with Gary, I was just too much into my head, like worrying that I wasn't going to match up or have the right wardrobe, have the right, and that's like a hard place to be. And then on top of just like, you know, being away from family at a hard time, I think timing has everything to do with how you are. And like I am like the most open, fun person, but that night I was just kind of like in my heart, like, you know, is this the right place for me? And then you meet him, right? And you see him because I was like, he was very attractive. And
Hmm.
I was really excited to meet him. And I thought, wow, he's Midwestern, kind of like me, Indiana,
Hmm.
Wisconsin. Maybe there's, connection. He liked the Bears, Unfortunately, we didn't even get time. It's a very long night, but it's very hard to like get time
Hmm.
with Gary,
Hmm.
and so it's really important when you go on a show like that to put yourself out there big time. And I kind of felt like I stepped back, away from it just because, I wish I could go back and I would totally redo it, but it's just how I was at that moment. Your life changes and your heart and where you're at with family and things like that. It's hard to be on a show
Oh,
like that.
yeah. And you know how that is so similar to real life. Like if you've been in a dark place for a long time, or if you've been single for a long time, and then you try to put yourself back out there, it's scary. Like
Yeah.
like whether it's the show or real life, it's no different, honestly. I think it was just a metaphor where people got to see that because I think what you all were going through is such a real thing. Like, how long had you been single at that moment?
Um, I had been single for quite some time because I'm pretty picky about guys too. I'm like, I gotta stop being so picky, but I have
We'll
really hard
talk
time
about
with
that.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Like so yeah, I'd been single because like I really just never I got tired of like match.com and all these like websites. Like
Yeah.
I don't it's like disappointing and I just you want to find someone that loves you for you and it's like you're judged by your age or your number on these things and it's like you know I think that's really hard in dating and gets exhausting and tiring. And that's why I thought the show would be fun. And I think, like we're not going to all fall in love with The Bachelor, but we fell in love with each other as women. And I felt like so alone and so many times and still feel that way. But I know my heart's with my dad and I'm open to love and I'm open to love, I am open to love for the first time. Like I'm really feeling that I'm ready for that too. And I thought I was ready then. But, it's kind of like when I left, I was devastated
Mm.
because I felt I put so much heart into leaving my family and and I thought, oh, you just should have put yourself out there. You just didn't put yourself out there. So that's disappointing for me in that sense that I was more emotional during that time. And
Mm.
this is what it is, it's like timing is everything about relationships and love. But I also know that, I kind of feel like um, it's hard to find somebody that just loves you for yourself and doesn't judge you for anything else.
Mm.
And I don't want to like be involved in a relationship where I can't give my full out.
Mm.
So I've dated a couple of guys and I haven't been in a relationship in a really long time because of that. Because I feel like I can't give you what you might need. I and I just, recently met someone and went to the zoo. I said, I'm like uncomfortable even meeting somewhere. I'm like, they said the zoo. I'm like, perfect. Because I love animals. It's perfect. I can hang out with orangutans if I don't like him, you know.
As a backup.
Have a conversation with orangutans. No, I have to,
It's not a
which
bad
I actually
path.
did. I did.
It's like
Like,
your wing guy.
hello, how are you? Like, where's your mate? Like, but it
Yeah.
was kind of like I said, and some of these guys are wounded. They're just getting out of a relationship or divorce, and I've already been there, done that,
Yeah.
and I'm not looking to like, um, take care of somebody, and I don't want someone to take care of me either. I want someone that we're going to bring each other joy. We're going to help each other. We're going to support each other. But at this age, we're all faced with like our old elderly parents or losing someone and then feeling like, is it the right time to meet someone? There's never a perfect time to meet somebody. So I just feel like I hope that I can be more open instead of closing myself off because I feel like I'm not I can't give what I should for someone fairly, like in a relationship or like timing, like, but I'm kind of thinking like maybe I'm shortchanging myself by doing that, but it's hard. It's really hard.
It is really hard. And I think, and you and I were kind of talking about this a little bit too, is that it's another layer when you're dating later in life. Like when you're young and in your 20s, everyone's kind of swimming in the same pool. Like life hasn't happened yet. So there's not as much to navigate. But now, fast forward, it's like you've been orbiting the earth and you get, down to earth and the rocket door goes up and you're like, oh my God, everything looks different. Same earth that you left. But when it's been a
Exactly.
while, it's hard. You're different. The men are different. And to your point, everybody has had different losses, trauma, failed relationships. And so you're not only trying to navigate yourself, but other people. And the timing is real. And I think that's another thing that I talk about is like you could have chemistry with somebody, but you might not be compatible or the timing might be off. And so I think one of the most beautiful things about dating later in life is that there isn't really a sense of time anymore. Like you can have whatever you want and it doesn't even have to look like marriage. Like people have situationships and they have travel buddies. Like we can redefine the way the relationship looks like based on what your needs are now. But you said something really interesting is that a lot of people were telling you that you hadn't focused on you because you've been caretaking your dad and I imagine just other people because you seem like a caretaker to me. Do you feel like going on the show and just like finally just okay, I'm gonna focus on me helped you just kind of launch yourself?
It did. I was just a little disappointed with myself in the sense that I didn't follow through on that. Like I kind of let my, you know, being a very confident girl, the leader of the cheerleaders is like,
Yeah.
they're like, who were you on there? But I'm just, no, it was just kind of like, I feel like it was the best thing that I could have done. I just wish I could have done it differently. I wish I could go back. Like we always say that. I wish I could go back and go, get out there, talk, do your cheer, get
Hmm.
out, instead of having coffee with the cameraman in the back because the Gary's up there talking to somebody else. I'm like,
Like that.
like,
That is so funny.
I'm not creating a drama for myself to stay on the show. I'm
Oh yeah.
drinking coffee with the cameraman, I'm like, oh, Renee, really? It was
Okay, well,
like,
I'm gonna wait. I want to reframe something though for you. And I don't know if you've ever thought about this. So here you are beating yourself up, saying, I wish I wore the ball gown. I wish I put myself out there more. Renee, you out of 34,000 people went on public TV in a very public kind of, first show to put yourself out there. And even talking with the cameraman and coffee, like that's putting yourself out there. Like, I have a feeling you're a high achiever. I'm just saying, because given like all your achievements, and I think this happens all the time in life is like, well, if I don't have the husband or the boyfriend or the like, I didn't do enough. I didn't do enough. But my God, Renee, you did more than most people do. And maybe that's what you needed at that time, like to try to like go and shoot for the moon and marry Gary, like like for you just even
yeah.
putting yourself in that show was putting yourself out there. So I just want to I
Yeah, and
reframe it for
and a
you.
hard time too, because I wasn't feeling my best. Okay, because when
Yeah.
you're caretaking, you start letting yourself go, and like you're not feeling your tip top shape of
Yeah.
fitness. Like pump it up. Like you're still in the different time frame of what if I had been on the show before COVID, it would have been quite different. I think my whole demeanor would have been different, but I couldn't pass it up even when I was broken down and not feeling my best. I
Yeah.
was like, not going to let that stop me. And, I'm glad that I didn't let it stop me because I met wonderful people and wish I could have done things a little, you know, smarter, different. But you know what? You can't change how your heart is at that time. It's what you are. And so now I've just, like I said, the best thing about that show was like, I am proud of myself for putting myself out there. I know, during a hard time, I could have, totally walked away from it, but that's hard to walk away when you get presented a opportunity like that. So I'm happy I did it. And like I said, I didn't find love with Gary at all. I found love with all these women, and I didn't even have that much time because we all connected. We just, it's like the honey bears, like the NFL cheerleaders. You have a sisterhood that you can't explain, but to this day is so important. And that Golden Bachelor, we were the first Golden Bachelorettes, and we were all scared, and some were, everybody came, all different walks of life, and everybody was just, now, like, I love that I was alone, like being single and just taking care of my dad. But now I feel single and happy because I have 22 women that I became friends with that are single ladies that I eventually will all, like, we've traveled, we've made plans. So let's go here or there. I can't always do that as much as I would like at this time. But the fact that I have this sisterhood now, Golden Bachelorette sisterhood, along with the new ones, that I'm familiar with some of them, and I'm excited we all just did a quick thing to welcome the second season girls into, and I said, hey, whatever's happening, finding love, but you have a sisterhood now. I'm like happy that we're building on our sisterhood of, women our age that are like going through all kinds of things, all kinds of walks of life, coming from all kinds of walks of life, and just, embracing each other's, fears or whatever it may be, or just like building each other up to say, we can have love. We can do this. It just doesn't mean that life ends here. It's just like, it made me feel like getting up sometimes when it's hard to get up and you're tired and you're taking care of everybody else. In my head as a captain of the Honey Bears, I always said, 5, 6, 7, 8, we start to dance, right? I was like that's what we'd start to do. So like I learned like your therapy background, which is amazing. So I had to get to the place even, laying in bed, and I was worried about this and this and this. We can make ourselves crazy, right? Like just, it's, where is that going to put us? How's that helping us our day? But I started going like, I like getting up early. And then when I find myself like not getting up early, I go 5, 6, 7, 8. And I said to myself, get up. That's my get up. So my wake up is when I'm finding myself dragging, I do 5, 6, 7, 8, and I make myself get up.
I I love that in so many ways. It's such a metaphor because I was going to ask you, I mean, there's so many people listening to this who are in that same boat where it's like I know I want to put myself out there. Maybe they've also been in kind of a rabbit hole wherever they are in their life, but they can't motivate themselves to get up. Um,
Mhm.
what would you say, or what kind of advice would you give them? Because you've been through it. I mean, besides being a cheerleader, because not everyone's a honey bear. What are some ways that you could, like share, even from the experience that you had with the Golden Bachelor?
Yeah, I mean, I've had I'm so happy and blessed to have been able to be a part of all these, the Golden Bachelor, and just being able to recently go on, like WGN, and consistently being, recognized for our past on Soldier Field and things like that. But I think it's like you can't let your spirit and your heart die. And when you do that, it's like you are giving up, and you have to find a way to get up every morning. And it's not easy, and you just have to like embrace that. I think God's like kind of like just, telling you your path, and you have to like protect yourself, protect your heart. And I've learned that if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody that we all know that we love. And the hardest thing is taking care of ourselves. And I'm really forcing myself to try to like during a time that it was never hard for me to take care of myself. Because until I started caretaking, that's a whole nother story. I don't want to make it all about caretaking, but everybody goes through health issues or loss of family or a loved one. And, and it's hard. And we all at our age is just finding a way to like make your day like what is, going to be the best thing I could do today for myself.
Mm.
And then make also like just always being kind. And like my dad taught me that is like we all, no one's different. And like, I mean, I didn't need to, my dad just taught me about love. And it's always just being kind to everyone, and just always being kind to yourself, being kind to your heart, and always like never give up. Never give up on your dream, whatever it may be. It's like you have something you want to do. Don't be afraid to do it. Like I never thought I could write a book. Okay. If I wrote a book, anybody could write a book. And it became a really big book. Okay. And so like I am saying just go out there and just believe in yourself, and don't let things get you down. I mean, it's real easy to say that because I've been there when it's hard to get, but you can do it. And it's either you can like let your life just go. How's it going to serve you to just do
Hmm.
nothing, like to like not embrace life and not, believe in your dreams or do something? Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And the being on the show during a hard time, I forced myself there. And even though my heart was kind of jumbling all over the place, I still did it. And I know my sons were like really proud of me, and, for putting myself out there. And, so just, you never know what's going to come from it. Because right now I'm talking to you, Kimmy. I
Oh,
wouldn't be talking to you. And I wouldn't have all these wonderful ladies in my life, and just so many cool things happening since. You just have to like believe that things happen for reasons and embrace it and take it and go with it.
oh my God. Those are like beautiful words of wisdom too. And just, I can feel it just coming from the heart. And what touched me is right before we pushed record, how you were saying, just like even coming on the podcast and like, you know, getting back to you again, the things that brought you joy and to have fun. And I think that's so so important to have that balance, even if you are taking care of aging parents, or maybe you're dealing with some health issues or whatever it is. To have joy in your life and to bring back the sparkle, as I was saying in the beginning, is just so important. The other thing that I'm hearing from you, and you're just echoing exactly like even the things I do at the retreat, you have to take action. It's not enough to just will it, to think it. You have to do it. Right? So,
Yeah.
putting on the ball gown or the pom poms, dancing, uh, having a community of women that you can rely on and cry with is so important. That's why like I'm determined to just keep these like communities going. Like even at my retreat, it's so funny because everyone's in a WhatsApp group from my retreat, and I never shut it down. And now they're like ladies, like they're traveling together, they love each other, they're still blowing up, just like giving each other advice. Because with this fragmented world, like it's even more essential that we have each other and that we connect in ways, because like no one is alone. No one. So, oh my gosh, Renee, like you're amazing. I'm so happy we connected.
I
And
am too. And
yeah,
people connect for reasons. I would
always.
believe that.
Always.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. And people meet when they're supposed to meet, kind of like what you were saying with timing. Like there was a whole reason why you did that experience that's just leading to better things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to end with is, so where are you now? Like what are your hopes and dreams moving forward?
Probably like to just start being able to enjoy the Golden Bachelor ladies and travel with them. Like we've talked about a lot of trips, and like just maybe writing another book. And I feel like I just have so much that I want to do right now, but I've held back. But I feel like you can't hold back. You got to just keep pushing forward and just take what you can when you can, but don't ever stop like just having fun and just showing like life doesn't end now at this age. And like I kind of just feel like I'm excited for my life ahead right now and I feel like some good things are gonna happen. So I don't know where, what, and how, but I'm ready to get back to Renee.
Oh, amen. Amen. That's like
Oh man.
so beautiful. And you know what? We are going to do some sort of reunion in Chicago. And for anyone who is in the Chicago, we got to do like
Hmm.
something. So
Well, exactly, between all the Golden Bachelor men and women that were on the show, and like I said, we've all connected, and we've got a lot of good things we can do.
yes.
As being having this platform, I think I would love to like build on that platform of some kind of good charity thing and just have fun and just ways for people to meet, to connect, to like, just like um embrace and just find new friendships. People are out there lonely or, like I hope that anybody that's watching this too, that they feel free to like Instagram me. Like would love to hear from anybody, like just new friends. You can never have enough friends.
Oh my God. Yes. And please let everybody know, how can they read your book or find your book? I assume it's on
Um,
Amazon. You want to just shout it out again?
um, well, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna just, my first thing was out of love was my father's book that I wrote called Running Country Roads and Life Lessons Learned. I don't really care about selling the book so much, but sharing his story
Oh,
because any grandparent or parent would want to read his story because it's just kind of one of those Rudy stories. It's like a boy that just wanted to go to school, and it's inspirational, and it's a wonderful story. And of course, missing from the sidelines, the
woo!
Chicago Bear cheerleaders. Like this is a story that okay, I decided I was going to write a book, and I thought, oh, I'll do it in 6 months to a year. 4 years later, it was such a beast,
Oh, but it's like
but
birthing a long baby.
it was,
It is,
and
though.
it's tells our story, and the Honey Bears were disbanded at the Super Bowl. So if you're a Chicago fan, everybody knows about the Honey Bear curse because the Bears have not won a Super Bowl since the Honey Bears were disbanded in 1985. So it's one of the top three curses out there. And we tell the story of how Papa Bear Hellas brought us to Soldier Field, and during the writing of the books I actually went to his mausoleum and asked him for his blessing on the book. It was a private thing that I did, and it meant a lot because I got to learn about him
Mhm.
and his daughter, and kind of reminded me of my story with my father in football, being father being the oldest living Badger football player. But every girl and NFL cheerleader in this chapter 12 is over 200 pages, and they all tell their stories from 78 through 1985. And some are very inspirational, some will make you laugh, some will make you cry. And so those are special stories to read, but outside of just the whole history of how things started and ended with us. And today we're still doing charities and book signings and still cheering on the Bears. And they keep saying, you need to bring the Honey Bears back if you want them to win a Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'm going to be starting the new NFL cheerleaders. Like maybe they'll finally give in and let us like bring the cheerleaders back. But
Oh
you
my
know,
God. If we have a singles event, like you have to wear that costume, but most of all,
oh
you have to
God,
bring out those white
again.
boots. The white boots. Men love
I
white
go,
boots. I think it started with you all.
yeah. If those white boots could talk, I'll tell you, they'd be
Yeah,
dangerous.
okay, well, we'll save that to the next
We have a
episode.
lot of stories. That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, Renee, you're awesome. Thank you so, so much for coming on, and we'll definitely be in touch.
I hope so. Yeah, I know we will.
Thank you. And thank you for joining me today, you listening. This has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And if you want to know more, make sure you go to my site, kimmyseltzer.com, as always. And if you feel like your light has been dimmed and you want to get back out there, but your confidence is holding you back, I'd love to help. Just click the link in the show notes that you see and hop on a free coaching call with me to uncover what's holding you back and create a plan to help you feel sexy, confident, and magnetic again. That's all for now.